Hi, and welcome to The Farm Presents. I'm your host, Lou Meyer, and today we're going to be speaking with Mel HeBert. He's the author of Simple Obtainable Solutions, the founder of Citizens Day, and a 52-year martial arts master. Thanks for coming on the show, Mel.
Thanks, Lou. Appreciate
Good
it.
to see you. So, your book here, The Simple Obtainable Solutions, Mel's book, covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
And it culminates in the idea of Citizens Day. Can you talk a little bit about what is Citizens Day and how it's going to work, and what we can expect from that?
Yeah, I came up with the concept first of Citizens Day, then I compiled the book. I figured the more and more corruption we see in government, the more the people have to get involved in the Constitution. So I got this concept first, and then I built a book around it. So it took quite a while. I really started diligently doing things in 2006. And compiled a book and it printed in August 2014. And the concept of Citizens Day is 100% behind the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. And I like to just tell people on camera, the 10th Amendment is the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. It says a lot, and everybody that reads it has to read it 5 times. So I like to break it into 3 segments, if that's okay. So the first segment is the power not delegated to the United States by the Constitution. Okay? It shows that the Constitution's powers are few and well defined. That's the first part of the 10th Amendment. Second part, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to their states respectively. Okay? The state sovereignty is supreme. If you're a governor of Kansas, you can do basically what you want as long as you don't make murder, okay, so that's what you can do. State sovereignty stays sovereign, and that's the best part of being, a state. Also, or to the people. So what I want to do is it's a nonviolent plan, but I want to say one thing before I divulge the plan. We've seen so many Congress, state governors now all getting on board and circumventing our Constitution. So that's what they're doing. But our Nonviolent Citizens Day role, it's our sole purpose, is to repeal unconstitutional laws. And if I could see the other side of the camera, I'd have 100,000 people raising their hand. Oh, we have a bunch. Okay? But by repealing these laws, Americans will also reveal hidden meanings behind the laws we repeal. That's what the most important part of this thing is. And if our concentrated effort must stay 100% truthful, because we're not being handed the truth by the mainstream media, and laser focused to get to our destination, because as it says right in the book, a goal without a plan is only a wish.
That's so true. Well, it doesn't seem reasonable to me that Congress will actually deregulate themselves.
Oh yeah, they'll never limit themselves. They always tell you what the Constitution says, and then it really doesn't say that. And they just give themselves more power and more power. It's ridiculous.
So just to say, when I try and do research on the internet now, I come up again. I read a zillion different things. You can't even tell. They're constantly contradicting each other. Did you have any difficulty determining the truth when you were writing your book?
Okay, I'm one of these guys that has to find the answer, so I'm a pain in the butt. But I have to find the answer. I went on one thing I was researching. I found the truth on page 127. And I researched that in 2006, and I found it like on page 18. They deleted it off the internet, and I found it again on another website on page 127. Who in their right mind, outside of me, is going to research that many pages? That's what
That's for
that's
sure.
the problem.
So, all right. So, how would people participate in Citizens Day?
All right, like I mentioned before, it's a non-violent plan and to repeal constitutional laws. So what we're going to do is on my website, simpleobtainablesolutions.com, and info@simpleobtainablesolutions.com. We're going to get together and we're going to actually vote on initiatives that we deem are necessary to rescind these crazy laws. There's just ridiculous laws out there. We see more and more and more and more, and you can't say this because free speech is being, trounced on by the politicians. So, that's what we do, you know, it's, they created their own federal supremacy, that's what they did.
So people would submit laws that they would consider to be unconstitutional or no longer necessary and.
Correct. Oh, yeah, you could do that, and, you know, the best part of this is, get with different groups of people, just don't everybody send in 100,000 of them. Get with 5 or 6 of your friends, different ages, you know? If they get with 5 or 6 friends, and they say, what do you think? You know, the first thing that comes to mind on a lot of people is, make lobbying illegal. Basically, it's extortion. It's you know, it's crazy. They call it lobbying because they put different names on things to make it look good. Just like they did with, oh, we have global warming. Then when they found out we had 23 feet of snow in Lake Tahoe in a month, it's, it's climate change. We know it's climate change. It does all the time, you know? So they just change the thing to make it sound less, you know, to make it sound good on their part. So that's what they're doing.
What could we do about, like special interests having incredible influence on the government? Like big business or well, you mentioned the lobbyists already, that's the way they get to
Yeah,
people.
sure. But
And money that goes far above and beyond anything the rest of us have.
oh yeah, it's all about money, you know, and you know, the more money, the more power. But don't underestimate the power of a few who have unlimited funds and are very evil. Don't underestimate it, because they have unlimited funds. We don't. The thing we have is numbers. If you can either have unlimited funds or a bunch of numbers. We have 326 million people in the United States. We start hitting them with numbers, make them follow the Constitution, because they put their hand on the Bible or whatever they did and raised their hand and said, we will follow the Constitution. As soon as they say that, 20 minutes later, they're not. And we all know that. And it's just ridiculous. So we make them follow the Constitution they swore to follow. You know, I would like to even put a clause in a partial law when we get going, is if they failed to do these things that they promised in the beginning in writing, we get rid of that politician and put another one in on a special election. Maybe that's all we'll be doing, is going to the polls for about 2 years, but we can get it done.
Well, all right, so, you know, there's a lot of bickering among people and divisiveness among voters. Do you think that Citizens Day would bring people together, kind of reach across the aisle and have everybody have a common goal?
Oh, sure. It doesn't matter, you know, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Constitutionalist, it doesn't matter. You talk to most people and they're just fed up with, you know, Noah knows there was 2 genders, male and female. If he went with everybody else that said there's 92 genders, the ark would have sunk in 100 feet, okay? So it's just ridiculous. I want people that have honesty, integrity, and truth. That's what we're looking for. Morals. Most Americans have the morals, they're just getting away from it, totally getting away from it.
Yeah, well, I also wanted to point out that you mentioned nullification in your book.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about that. Can you mention what that means and how that affects us?
Well, nullification is basically what the 10th Amendment is all about, okay? They nullify a law that is totally unconstitutional. And one proposal I'd like to do, like everybody says, well, let's get rid of lobbyists. The one proposal I would love to propose is every time Congress puts something in the Senate or the House to pass a new law, they have to show the American people where in the U.S. Constitution does it give them the right to do that. I think it'd be all part-time jobs because they just don't have the right to do most of these laws. That's why Citizens Day is imperative, because we could get rid of, I'd say hundreds, but most people would say thousands of laws. They duplicate the laws. That's all they do.
Man.
Yeah.
Very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So, how can people get in touch with you or get copies of your book?
Copies of the book, it's on Amazon, but you can also hit info at simpleobtainablesolutions.com, and I'll gladly send you a book. It's $20 including shipping, and I'll autograph every book. It's way worth it. Now, a lot of people have time constraints, Lou, and that's most important. Who puts on more time constraints on Americans than government? That's all they do. They just hit you with one thing after another, after another. You shut the TV off and you go, why am I watching this? And everybody does it. So they put so if you have a time constraint, I put enough in this book. If you want 90% of it, 85 to 90% of it, read chapters 8, 10, and 11. If you really don't have time, read 8 and 11. That'll give you 85 to 90% of what the book is. The 11th chapter is all about Citizens Day. And 8 tells us the reasoning behind Citizens Day. So what most people don't realize, when you research on your own, this goes back almost 100 years of how they progressively move it forward and grab more and more and more of our liberties. That's what they do.
So, all right, so speaking of our liberties and talking about lobbyists, what other proposals would you make to, as part of Citizens Day? What other kinds of things would you like to eliminate?
Well, a lot of people are having this border controversy, you know, and it is a big controversy. They just spend years and years and years talking about something and never get anything done. So I call it government DNA. Do nothing America, deliver nothing America. It's time for Americans to deliver something to the politicians.
So true.
Yeah, and I use the word honesty, integrity, and truth because most Americans have it, okay? Isn't it ironic that honesty, integrity, truth, the first 3 letters spell the word hit? So we're gonna hit them. We're gonna hit them with the Constitution, we're gonna hit them with the Constitution, and we're gonna hit them again with the Constitution. They cannot ignore 100, 200, 300,000 people saying, this is what you're gonna do. We put a 30-day time limit on rescinding a law. If it doesn't get done, we hold them responsible and actually arrest them. Now, you're not gonna arrest some of the higher level politicians, you're gonna arrest some of the lower ones. But you wanna hear them squawk? Arrest 10 of them in a row. They're gonna go, uh-oh, and guess what? All the time they take away from us as family members, everybody, all the time they take away, they're not gonna do it anymore. They're gonna just say, uh-oh, I gotta cover my butt. So basically, they're gonna drop down the rhetoric, and they're gonna realize this is a constitutional plan that can get me arrested. They're gonna be scrambling around like crazy. That's what they're gonna do.
Interesting.
You know, it is interesting, you know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you know, the President Kennedy, you know, he was involved in a lot of things. Very honest president, you know, and he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces, and he even mentioned that. You know, I think he's one of the most honest presidents we ever had. You know, and unfortunately he got assassinated for other reasons. But main reason is he wanted the Federal Reserve. He wanted America to print their own money. If you look back, and anybody looks back, who's the only other president that wanted to do that? Abraham Lincoln. And when Abraham Lincoln got approached right after the Revolutionary War, they were gonna lend him the money, and I don't wanna mention who they is, we'll find out down the road, lend him the money at 37% interest. That is in 1860. Isn't that a ridiculous interest rate now?
Yeah.
So he's gonna print his own money, and 5 days later he got shot in a Ford Theater. President Kennedy, print our own money. 1 week later, he got shot in Dallas, Texas. Is there a plot going on? We're gonna uncover it with Citizens Day. We're gonna uncover a lot of things, and they can't hide anything in these laws anymore. One subject, Lou, one law. No 55 subjects in one law. One subject, one law, and you can't add anything else to it. Also, 30 days before they go make a vote on a law, they have to show the American people the entire law. They have to show all of Congress the entire law. The Affordable Care Act. They gave people in Congress about 3 hours to 4 hours to review 1,080 pages. Impossible. So we're just gonna make everything get back to normal. That's what we're doing. you know.
Right, so for folks to learn more about this or to participate in it, they can come to simpleobtainablesolutions.com.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have a Facebook page or anything that'll allow for dialogue?
Yeah, I'll have a
Each other's-
Facebook page. I'm also gonna put up a Facebook page for Citizens Day. All right, and I'm looking into doing a blog once a week,
That's wonderful.
and that's exactly what we're gonna do. And so, you know, that's it. But on this thing, just to give everybody an idea, I'm not here saying send in donations, buy my book. Whether it's online, okay, or buy the book physically, right here. Just buy it physically. You'll get it. I don't need a lot of money to live on. The proceeds from this book will go to more and more better productions. So that's what we're gonna do. I don't need a lot to live on, but I do need to get some revenue in here so we can get better equipment, better studio time, everything like that, you know. So that Citizens Day is it's time, guys. It's really time to do something. And the only thing Citizens Day did was take our 10th Amendment powers as the people and put a discernible name on it. That's all we did. That's all I did. I didn't change anything because I am nowhere near as brilliant as Thomas Jefferson. So, so that's it. I didn't change a thing. I just gave it a discernible name. Because now when you're going to the polls or you're voting, hey, you're going to the polls on 10th Amendment Day, or you're going to the polls on Citizens Day? What sounds better? Citizens Day. So that's why I just gave it a discernible name and took the brilliance of our founding fathers and applied everything to Citizens Day. That's all I did.
All right, so simpleobtainablesolutions.com.
Yep.
Info at simpleobtainablesolutions.com, and you get to Mel, and you'll be able to participate in Citizens Day.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like a great thing. I mean, people feel disenfranchised. They feel like they don't have any control over anything.
Nothing.
Maybe their vote doesn't count, or whatever. However, you want to go to it. This is a great opportunity.
Yeah, it is. And then you know, one other thing I'd like to mention too that's really starting to hit on alternative news is basically everybody's trying to get rid of make it a popular vote and get rid of the Electoral College. Well, people, if you research the Electoral College, that's another brilliant idea, because all our founding fathers found that populated Concord, New Hampshire, Boston, Mass, Philadelphia, all that could control the vote because there's more people in a concentrated area than there is in the outlying areas. So they came up with the Electoral College. The new thing they're putting out there is called the National Popular Vote Compact. It's backed by pretty shady people, and it takes state sovereignty away from the states if we go to a popular vote. That's what it does, and that's on page 49. I read it. So if you don't constantly research, you don't know anything. Here's the best part of research I want to mention. Best part of research is everybody says, I don't have time. But if you get together with 5 or 6 people, and you say, Citizens Day, Mel HeBert Citizens Day, and the people that send in their things, we are going to research it. Just get on board and go online on our Facebook page for that, and my website, and see how far we're getting. So you don't really have to spend a lot of time. You can do it in the house for 4 to 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
So that's it.
Great, thanks, Mel. So simpleobtainablesolutions.com, Citizens Day. I'll be looking forward to the Facebook page. And we're going to be doing some more interviews with Mel, a variety of issues, including one on martial arts, which Mel is a master of. And thanks a lot for watching, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you, Luke.
Great, Mel. Mel, in your book, you stated that everything government does is connected. You also said, every single time government says one thing, we always find out the opposite is true. Can you expand on these perspectives?
Thanks, Lou. Ever since the Bill Clinton presidency, our government has voted in an ironclad clause that government does not need to disclose any financial info if it involves national security, thus funding their own black budgets without any accountability. Is it a con or another coincidence that military directed energy weapons, next-level global surveillance, and 5G all operate on the exact same electronic frequency? Government's constant spraying chemtrails ionizes our atmosphere, assuring that all military applications and 5G will function properly. So don't look for this spraying to stop anytime soon. On February 19, 2019, 3 months ago, Senator Blumenthal said, "There are no tests being conducted on the safety of 5G networks, not on humans, animals, plants, or insects." Now introduced the newly proposed Space Force. Will our government tell us they discovered space aliens? Or is it possible America will orbit numerous satellites with 5G to blanket the Earth while providing our military global, life-threatening technology to unleash at any time or on anyone they want? Our government's sense of urgency to win the 5G race shows me they are up to no good once again. Haven't we learned yet that politicians put the con in our Constitution? It takes only 3% of Americans to enact our constitutional, nonviolent Citizens Day plan. If you can see this is more probable than not, you are part of that 3%. A goal without a plan is only a wish.